Now on 12, an exclusive following a grisly murder in Suffolk. Tonight, new video showing the suspect's standoff with police, his children being freed, and cops cuffing their suspect. Devastation in America's midsection. Tornadoes roll through the Illinois state, claiming numerous lives and destroying entire towns tonight, where the death toll stands. And the fire's finally out. How crews in Kings Point Park were able to extinguish the flames after a two-day battle. The news begins now.
As local news gets. News 12, Long Island.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Drew Scott. We begin with breaking news as News 12 has just obtained exclusive video from Ridge, where a man allegedly murdered his girlfriend and then barricaded himself inside a home with small children inside. This video taken from a neighbor across the street as the suspect surrendered to police. News 12 Long Island's Sean Bergen has more on what happened and more of the video you'll see only on 12.
This was the scene shortly after it all unfolded around 11:30 this morning. Authorities say they responded to a slew of 911 calls reporting shots fired at the Brookwood Apartments off Route 25 in Ridge. When cops arrived, they say they found a woman dead from an apparent gunshot wound on the front lawn of her condo. A neighbor captured the dramatic scene on this cell phone video that News 12 obtained exclusively.
They were able to drag her around to the side of the building and out of the line of fire. Eventually, emergency services officers showed up. Negotiations with the suspect in the house resulted in him releasing his two young children.
Shortly after the two kids were released, investigators say the unidentified gunman opened fire on cops with a rifle.
Firing at least 6 rounds at them. They returned fire. No one was hit in that exchange of fire, and eventually he surrendered.
The apartment complex was put on lockdown during the tense standoff that lasted several hours. The neighbors we spoke with described a dramatic scene punctuated by screams and sounds of gunfire.
When I looked out the window, there was a sniper guy actually standing right behind where we are now, and just cops. I mean, it was crazy. I've never seen such a thing in my life.
And late tonight, Suffolk police identified the alleged shooter as 32-year-old Jose Rodriguez and his murdered girlfriend as Kimberly Salido, age 36. Cops say the two kids belong to the alleged gunman and they have been reunited with their mother. Meantime, Rodriguez will be arraigned on murder and attempted murder charges in Central Islip Monday morning. Drew?
Sean, thank you. Developing news in the Midwest as deadly tornadoes rolled through Illinois Sunday, killing 5 people. Here's cell phone video that caught a tornado on camera, virtually destroying the town of Washington, Illinois. Officials there say 3 people were killed. Residents described what it was like when the twister hit.
It's like a train, like a loud train. I said, this isn't right. I said, it's not thunder, it's not, and it just kept coming, getting louder. And so then I went in the basement, and about 10 seconds later, I felt the house shaking, and waited about probably a minute. Then I came back up and saw what you're seeing here.
To the south of the town, New Minden, officials say an elderly man and his sister were killed when a tornado hit their farm. The Illinois National Guard is sending a search and rescue team to help with the recovery effort. In all, more than 60 tornadoes were reported across the Midwest. The storms even made their way over to Chicago, where conditions forced NFL officials to delay Sunday's football game between the Bears and the Ravens for 2 hours. The stadium was also evacuated at one point. A weekend-long fire in Kings Point finally out. Nassau fire officials tell News 12 that the fire, burning for 2 days in Kings Point Park, has now been extinguished. They say 2 pumper trucks are still on the scene, pumping water just as a precaution. Officials say it took more than usual to get the job done because this fire was burning underground.
It's not your normal surface fire that we have on the eastern edge of the island. It's kind of a different animal, so it's just down dirty work.
Fire crews had to use shovels and rakes to dig the fire out and then extinguish the flames with water pumped in. Officials say they'll have crews out there in the morning to make sure that the fire didn't reignite. 3 men recovering after a stabbing at a Patchogue deli. It happened just before 8:30 Friday night at El Provocone Meat Market. When police arrived, officers say they found 3 men who had been stabbed. 2 of the victims were taken to the hospital but are expected to be okay. It's not clear what the men were fighting about. So far, no one has been arrested. And another brawl early Saturday in a hospital's emergency room in Greenport. It happened just after midnight at Eastern Long Island Hospital. Police say a fight broke out between three men who had gotten into a street fight just minutes before on Adams Street. Two of the men were treated for serious lacerations, but the other man was transferred to Stony Brook for more serious injuries. We're told some hospital staff were also hurt trying to break up that fight. No word on any of their conditions tonight, but no one has been arrested there so far. Incredible video coming into us showing the few seconds it took from storm surge to swallow up the towns in the Philippines. Watch as it goes from calm to chaos in just a matter of seconds. The person who shot this took refuge on the second floor of a house just feet from the sea. He says there were 5 others with him who were praying. The typhoon has already claimed nearly 4,000 lives, and that number is expected to grow. About 1,200 people are still missing there. An announcement Monday expected to outline some big changes that will help the LIRR run smoother. Amtrak says that they'll be changing the way they maintain and repair the problem-plagued East River tunnels. It's all in an effort to cut back on LIRR service disruptions to and from Penn Station. A few of those changes include regularly replacing track parts instead of waiting until they need to be fixed, conducting inspections during the day when more crews are on hand to make repairs immediately, and taking extra measures to protect tracks from corrosive or damaging elements. We're told Sandy aid money will be used to help fund some of those new initiatives. It's time now to get our check of the weather. Meteorologist Norm Dvoskin in the Weather Center with a hyper-local look at your forecast. Norm?
Well, some thick fog around right now. That'll persist in the overnight period. Also some scattered showers and possibly a thunderstorm as a cold front approaches with winds off of the water. A lot of moisture is being drawn into the area, and you can see some of the visibilities across Long Island. About a mile in the center of the island at Shirley, a half mile in Cedarhurst, under a half mile in West Hampton. This fog will continue until that front moves through early in the morning on Monday. Right at breakfast time, we'll have a few scattered showers around cloudy skies, maybe a little bit of fog persisting. 57 degrees, sunrise at 6:43 around lunchtime. Plenty of sunshine, 64 degrees, normal high temperature, 53, so a mild day. A few clouds around dinner time, 54 degrees, sunset at 4:32. Flying across Long Island, temperatures in the 60s, Hicksville 64, Ronkonkoma 65, out on the eastern portion, Coram 65, Wading River 65, East Hampton 67 degrees. At Jones Beach, temperature of 65 degrees, plenty of sunshine on Monday after some morning clouds and maybe a shower. Drew?
Got it, Norm. Thank you. Still ahead, a family in Baldwin fine after being rushed to the ER on Sunday, and the reason why it can serve as a good lesson for all of us. We'll explain. And LaGuardia Airport is about to be spruced up. More on Governor Cuomo's big announcement next on News 12 Long Island, as local news gets.